Holly Cotton here, and I am so excited that I finally got this crew together today for this show. You guys, if you are watching anything on the OWN network right now, you will see the Family Empire, and I have two of the main characters, and I am so excited not only to hear about their story with the show, but I want to go in a little bit further and divulge into what it is to be a woman boss and how they're able to balance that work life relationship. And then, of course, they're going to give us the insight, the nitty gritty behind the scenes on the Family Empire. So I have Jermeshia Goudeau and I have JaQuita Martin. And hold on, because I want to make sure I give everybody an opportunity. I want to tell everyone how fabulous they are. So Jermeshia is an esteemed real estate professional with a multifaceted background in executive level management and a passion for guiding others towards success. She had a bachelor's degree in economics from the University of Oklahoma, and she serves as the principal broker and co-founder owner of Braden Real Estate Group, a thriving multi-million dollar producing operation. So first, welcome, Jermeshia.
Thank you, Holly. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been waiting for this, okay? I feel like
Me
you were sliding
too.
us. I was like, what's going on, Holly?
And then hold on. What happened to? Oh, ooh. Okay, we got to be sorry, Jaquita. I
Oh,
only
yeah.
got
Next lady.
Jermisha, and then I got Nikki's.
Oh,
So
okay. It's fine. I can tell you a little bit about
She can tell
yeah,
you.
myself.
so
I
tell us
can.
who you are, Jaquita. Go ahead, tell us so they can put
Yes,
some respect on your name, cause she a boss
yes,
too, y'all. She a boss
yes.
too.
Doctor,
So,
doctor.
yes, I did attend the Texas Southern University where I received my doctor of pharmacy. So, I've been practicing pharmacy for a little over 12 years, but I also became a realtor working with Braden Real Estate Group, of course, no other brokerage. And then with Braden Real Estate Group, I actually serve as the community outreach coordinator for BRG Cares, which is our community service initiative within Braden. And then I also work as a training coordinator. So I plan all the trainings for the brokerage. So it's a little bit about
Okay, so first, before we go into anything else, let's start with you, Jermisha. First of all,
Let's do it. Let's do it.
economics. First of
Ooh,
all, I hated econ in college. I hated it. I was like, let me just. Why did I take two of these? Like, I just
yeah.
cannot. So, how did economics transition to realtor?
I mean, to be honest, it was an accident one. But with the background in economics, it makes me look at real estate from a whole completely different world. Like I see it from, the supply, the demand side. Like these factors, these are contributing factors for the market that we're in and analyzing it from not just in house. Like, this is a beautiful house. I want a house. This is my dream house. But all the factors when we go to negotiate deals, analyzing that this is the market to buy, is this the time, or how do we navigate it based on the information. I get all excited about it. So that's the corny side of real estate, but it's not the fun side. But it's exciting. Like I think those two worlds kind of mesh together because real estate is a very emotional. It's not only transactional. You have to look at all of those things, especially when you're working on the investment side of real estate and not just for just a residential sales type of perspective.
And I love that because I'll be honest, when I see a lot of the realtors on social media, they always have the aesthetic look. They
Mhm.
always have augmented
Yeah.
bodies. Always have the pretty, long hair. The lip
Mhm.
liner that's out here to make their lips big. Like
Mhm.
it's like an aesthetic look because it's
Yes.
like, look at me, I'm beautiful, and now you should
Mhm.
buy a home from me. And although you are very beautiful as well, you're like, yeah, but let me tell you why this is not your house, or let me tell
Mhm.
you why this should be your house. So I
So,
love that you have that part of it, and you're also like, and I know what I'm talking about because
I know what
this
I'm
is a
talking about.
I'm just not didn't just fall into real estate. Now,
Absolutely.
but someone did fall into real estate, Dr. JaQuita.
Doctor.
So obviously, honestly, before you tell us how you fell into real estate, I want to know, is the transition hard? Because I get asked a lot of times, because my trade is nursing, right? I got a master's in nursing. I've always been a nurse, a college professor with nursing, right? And so, and transitioning to something else, but I'm like, yeah, it's not nursing, but it's still helping people. It's not, I'm not doing hands-on care, but I'm still doing this, advocacy. I'm still pushing this. So for me, I don't look at it as like a huge difference, but pharmacy to real estate, that's a big difference. So, do you feel a loss that you're not necessarily in what you got a degree for?
Not really. And the reason I say that is because I still practice as a pharmacist. So once a week, I'm at the pharmacy, just making sure that I'm staying abreast of what's going on, because a lot of people still come to me and they're like, hey, I got this new medication. What is it for? So I still want to be able to, exactly like Jermeshia said.
We know, right. Is this the right dosage? Yeah.
Exactly. And so I don't want to lose touch with that side, because that's what I went to school for and accumulated all these student loans for. So hey, let's at least still keep good use of it. But with the transition, like you mentioned, with healthcare, we're still hands on. It's all patient care. And with real estate, it was all being client obsessed. So you still have to be a people's person and know how to handle people. We have to counsel medications. Hey, I find myself being a psychiatrist with real estate. You run into all these different scenarios and you're like, oh my goodness, I thought the patient counseling was going to stop at the pharmacy. Now I'm in here in real estate and I've become a full counselor, just because of all the different scenarios that you can encounter with it. But for the transition, what I will say is you have to have some money saved up. You can't just quit unless you have money saved up to make that transition smooth, because there's a lot of upfront expenses with real estate. And so if you don't have your money saved, you just thinking, oh, I'm gonna just quit, have your ducks in order, especially have your money saved to keep up with all of the real estate expenses in the beginning.
And one thing I love that you said, because I just said that not long ago, JaQuita. I said, someone was asking me about practicing as a nurse. And I'm like, baby, you know how much sacrifice I did to get a master's in freaking nursing? Why am I going to give up that? I'm still going to do just the minimal, and everything that I do, I have my own schedule as well. So even if I'm teaching a class, I enjoy teaching. So like how you said, you can still go to the pharmacy once a week. But I was like, we got continuing education credits. We got, like, I'm not losing my license. People don't realize in the medical field, you can't just be like, I'm out and then come back in 20 years.
Because I might forget. Look, I might fail the test if I have to take it again.
Listen, when I got to do clinicals with those nursing students and they get too carried away, I'm like, listen, now you need to figure that out on your own.
Right.
Like, but I'm really like, what the hell? I don't know. I do not know. I do not know.
Let me go phone a friend real quick.
Yeah, I was like, right, trying to stump me. So also, going into that, JaQuita, I also wanted to sort of, I guess, piggyback on what you just said, to divulge a little bit more into that, where you were saying the transition. So can you tell us how, because again, we know it's a family business, but how did you just decide one day and you were like, you know what, I might do real estate? Let me go here.
Well, so you know what? I saw Jermeshia and Nicole, and I'm like, man, they are really out here killing it with this real estate. And, real estate it's always been a part of our family. We've seen, my grandparents, and then my dad, he was also a realtor. So we've seen it. We were very familiar with real estate. And it was always something that I kind of considered. But then when I went the pharmacy route, I was just like, oh, if I do it, I'll do it. But when the opportunity presented itself, I was on my maternity leave and I had about 16 weeks. I'm like, I don't need these full 16 weeks just for my baby. I'm like, let me go to real estate school and knock this out. And so I just, in the meantime, I was like, let me just get it to have just in case I decide. So it was really more of a backup idea. And so my first year, I didn't practice at all because I had a newborn and I was still just, it can be in healthcare. It was really busy. Pre-pandemic. And so actually, like during the pandemic that was my first practicing year. And so it was crazy at the pharmacy. real estate, I was like, hey, real estate is starting to look good. I didn't do any deals my first year, but once I got a taste of that first deal, they just kept coming. And I was really making a lot of money in real estate. And it was just so surprising. I'm like, I made all of this in 1 month. And I'm like, this is what I made at the pharmacy. I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I working so hard in this pharmacy? And it's stressing me out because it's COVID, it's all this stuff. It was extremely stressful. And so real estate just, it seemed a little more favorable at the time. And so I dived into it. And like I said, it was very expensive, but luckily I was still a full-time pharmacist when I dived into it. So I had the money to accommodate all of those expenses. But now I'm a full-time realtor and I just work at the pharmacy 1 day a week and it works for me.
Well, and that's the thing. People forget that
Mm-hmm.
freedom should be your goal. Freedom
Absolutely.
to do what you want to do. Freedom that it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon
Mm-hmm.
and the three of us are like, hey, let's have a podcast episode. Because unfortunately, if you're working, your job is not going to be like, oh yeah, go ahead for an hour, yeah, for sure. You're like planning your lunch break around it. So the
Actually,
freedom is what people forget. That should be your goal. The money is great. Yeah, we love money. Let me not get carried away. Give me my checks, all of them. But
yeah,
it's the freedom to where we can do this in another city, another state, having that
Absolutely.
flexibility. So
that
But
the
freedom
freedom
also
comes with
comes with
everything.
a cost.
Yeah.
And
yes.
that's what people don't understand about entrepreneurship. You see the freedom, like even my husband, he's like, oh, y'all out there brunching, we love to lunch and brunch, we're going to be out to eat, doing podcasts in the middle of the day. But that level of freedom comes with a cost.
Hmm.
And people think that you just don't have to work as hard because you have the freedom in your schedule and the flexibility of your schedule, but you truly have a cost. And that could be late nights, early mornings, weekends, evenings. You have those things that you have to say, hey, if I was a 9 to 5, I could go do my job and come home and not worry about it. But this freedom
Hmm.
and flexibility has a cost in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and you're gonna get a check. See,
And you're gonna get a check.
entrepreneurship.
Woo,
I got a job. I know I got a check
woo,
coming in every other Friday. I don't have to
I
worry
know
about it.
it.
Like, mm-mm. So, Jermesha, that sort of gets. Thank you for opening the door for my question that I had in my head.
Perfect.
I wanted to ask about the
Mm.
struggles that that women have, and I guess I say women because my audience, I like to talk to women because I feel that men have dominated the world for so long. So
Okay.
I love that women are now coming into these roles. We're being bosses. We about to be the president of the United States. Like we just doing stuff now. So I wanted to ask you because again, people are looking at you guys. You have a show, you're making money. JaQuita done quit being a pharmacist. Y'all are doing everything now. So if I'm looking at that and I'm saying, man, I'm about to go be a realtor today because I want to do what they're doing. Give us, I guess, the inside of how that is obtainable. What do I need to do? And then I know JaQuita kind of told us about the first year, but just go into that as well because people
Yeah.
probably get discouraged when they hit those roadblocks.
Absolutely. I truly believe it's being a master of your time. And what happens is when you're trying to balance or navigate life, I love the word navigate versus balance, all of those things, one thing you're going to realize is that time is not on your side. There are only so many hours in a day. And sometimes when you want to, we're out there, brunching and lunching, like I stated earlier, but those brunches and those lunches now, they have to be intentional. Not, hey, sis, do you want to go out too? What are we talking about doing this lunch? Who are we meeting with at the lunch? What's the objective of this lunch? When I leave here, like every hour in your day it has to be addressed or it has to be allocated to something. And that's the only way truly that I truly believe you can master your day. Like you have to get to the point where your time scheduling, your time blocking, whatever phrase you want to use, has to be so intentional where you put your children into that schedule. Your children go on that schedule. Time with your spouse goes into that schedule. Hey, when am I following up with my clients? When am I checking my emails? Like to really truly be a master of entrepreneurship is to have that level of discipline over your time and over your schedule. I'm not fully there yet. Okay. I have tons of room for improvement. in my schedule. Some days I just want to lay here and just look on social media for like an hour, liking and scrolling. But I pay for that hour that in the earlier part of my day when I was scrolling on social media. At the end of my day, when I'm trying to leave the office to get home to my son's football game, like I do today, I was like, man, I should have been working in that hour versus scrolling on social media. So we pay, like I said, freedom has a cost.
I love that. Yeah, and I do that too. And if I'm on social media more than 10 minutes, I'm literally like, I'm so disciplined now. I'm like, nope, nope. Or if I really want to scroll because there's some gossip going on, I'll multitask. I'm like, okay, well maybe I can ride my bike for 20 minutes while I scroll. At least I'm
Y'all do
doing
it.
something. Like
Right.
I'm just not going to just sit there. Or it's got to be I guess like you said, that
That
sort of
intentional. Like
navigating.
I'm gonna make sure I get some physical fitness in. This is gonna be my time. We're gonna
And that's what
multitask. Like we got to be
it's gonna be two for
multifaceted.
one. Two for
You
one.
have
I
to.
love it.
Phone.
So
Mhm.
go back, Jermesha, again, because I want you to break down if I want to be a
Okay.
realtor, what is the
Let's talk about
process
that.
of doing that?
So the first thing about being a realtor is do your education before you jump into the industry. Okay. Talk to someone. Doing that education, what that consists of, speak to somebody that's in the industry. So a lot of people get into the industry because they like, I love helping people. Okay. Real estate is not a nonprofit organization, okay? It's just not. It's not a charity organization. I would love for the fact that it was because I love helping people. I love what I do. So we absolutely do that. But at the same time, if you don't sell a house, you don't get paid. You cannot take care of your clients if you don't have the tools and the resources able to fully help them out. So talk to a realtor, talk to somebody in the industry, ask them about their experience, the pros and cons, find out if you even like sales. If you're too passive in this industry, sometimes sales, building relationships is one thing. And that's the big part of real estate. Real estate is about relationships all day long. But if you can't convert those relationships into a sales interaction and convert it, then you just a nice person and you're not a realtor. Okay. So and that's going to be the biggest thing, reaching out to somebody that's in the profession and get kind of find out what's that day-to-day look like. What should be my expectations, like JaQuita stated before. What does your nest egg look like? Those are some of the questions that I ask agents that interview for the brokerage. Is real estate sometimes takes a ramp up period. JaQuita said her first deal wasn't for a year. We don't want that to be everybody's norm, but in the case you were not able to close a real estate transaction within the first year, how would you feed yourself? How would you take care of your family if you have one? How would you pay your bills? How would you survive if you don't? Those are critical questions because what happens when people run out of money, they become desperate. And you cannot truly thrive in the business of real estate with a spirit of desperation. And so, what does that look like? What does your financial plan look like? Then, secondly, I think thirdly at this point, next you want to kind of figure out, like I said, do I even like real estate from a sales perspective? Or do I just like walking through model houses and getting interior design ideas? Like, what do everybody, I have a lot of interviews, they'll say, I just love real estate. I love, no, I think you love interior design because they get so excited about looking at model homes and the new homes, kind of identifying, let's talk about real estate. Let's talk about what goes into real estate. Let's talk about the lending component. Let's talk about, the title component. Let's talk about, looking and showing and the freedom, the cost of freedom in your schedule, showing on the weekends, showing late in the evenings after people get off work. Is that type of lifestyle something that you would be okay with? So understanding the day to day of what a realtor's jobs and duties are, like JaQuita discussed, the counseling, being able to have uncomfortable conversations with people. If you're a people pleaser, real estate is really not a good industry for you. And sometimes people that are good people, they like people and they like helping people. Sometimes those people are people pleasers. And that's really not, you have to be a strong personality. You got to tell them, hey, you have this. Hey, this house, I know this is the house that you're in love with, but the offer that you're putting in is not competitive. Or you have to be able to converse with the person on the other side of the deal and let them know how your client's offer is the best offer. You have to be able to negotiate. And those type of personalities sometimes are not a good fit for the industry.
Yeah,
And
and I think that a lot of time. Oh, go ahead, JaQuita.
I just wanted to add something to what she was saying. So, besides like how she said finding a mentor, another thing is making sure that you're always learning, because you
That's
have
what
to
I
know
forgot.
what you're talking about. The clients, they like to be educated. So if you're the type, hey, I don't want to learn, I don't want to do all this other stuff, real estate is not for you, because with our industry, it's always learning. And so you have to go to those, even if you don't need the CE, go to the different classes, the different workshops that they offer, because you want to know the things that your clients are asking. You don't want to say, oh, let me call my broker, let me call the lender. You want to at least know something. So always making sure that you're knowledgeable so that you can add value for your client. So I would always
And
say
that's just like what you said earlier about Holly. No offense to the Barbie brokers, okay?
Mm-hmm.
No offense at all. But real estate, you have to truly lead by value, and that's that value. You learn that value through always learning. And sometimes most of the educational opportunities either are free through your brokerage or they're free with partners like the title companies, lenders. You can go and learn this information, but you got to bring the value back to the client. Like marketing, sales and marketing is one huge component of being successful in real estate in this current, environment that we're in. You have to market yourself. You have to create a brand identity for yourself, but you also have to bring value to your clients. And you have to do that by always learning. You can't just say, I got my license, I'm ready to sell you a house because it's pretty.
Well, first of all, I feel cool that I know there's a name, Barbie Broker. You know, I'm part of the. I know the lingo now.
I just made that
I
up,
call
by the
them
way.
I call
Okay.
them
I,
BBL brokers.
oh, stop it, Quita.
The men are the kin brokers too, because sometimes I'm looking at them. They look just the same. They got the little fitted shirt on, or you know.
What are you really trying to sell? Trying to sell
But I'm
yourself or
looking at it, so obviously I'm not buying a house, but I'm looking. So
Mhm.
so JaQuita, what I wanted to do before we talk about the show and all
Mhm.
of that, I wanted to kind of go back and ask you another question about this, because as Jermeshia was explaining about the transition and about being a going from econ to realtor, it made sense. It was all kind of linear. And so I wanted to ask you, because coming from sort of, I would say, corporate America, right? Because if you're a pharmacist, you're working, you're doing people skills, you're having to learn how to, clock in and out. It's like those corporate skills, right? You didn't start off as an entrepreneur, which I do struggle with being relatable to some of these younger people, even more people in their 30s that have never had a job and they've always been an entrepreneur, and I'm trying to work with them, and I'm talking about my itinerary. I need my calendar. I need this. I need that. And they're all over the place because they just kind of just function a different way. And I'm like, listen, corporate America, you got a Teams meeting. It's on everybody's calendar. We share calendars. We do. It's just very structured. So it's totally different. And then also, I know as a woman, coming in, even though in the pharmacy, you're the doctor, you're the top person, right? Everyone is respectful and whatever. And then now you go into real estate, and now to be that dominant personality can sometimes be seen as, oh, okay, well, you're a woman, now you're trying to be bossy or whatever. Yeah, especially a black woman, if you get upset about something, now you the angry black woman compared to a male counterpart who it's okay for him to be aggressive and to talk to people in any kind of tone. So can you kind of maybe just give us a little bit of you coming from medical and coming into this and seeing some of those gender roles, and what have some of the struggles been or the challenges that you've seen?
Well, so transitioning from pharmacy to real estate, so I still had to have that same critical thinking background, like how I have with pharmacy. It applied the same way with real estate. Every situation is different. Hey, how can I make this deal work for my clients? What's the best way? So that critical thinking was critical with the transition. But as far as gender roles, I didn't really I didn't experience that as much as race. I felt like race was a little more dominant than the whole gender, because you go to certain neighborhoods and you see, you're welcome here. Some of them you're not as welcome. And it was really just a shock for me, because even at the pharmacy, so the pharmacy, there's gender issues. They prefer to speak with males. Some of them prefer to speak with older males. And so me being a younger female, it's just like, you're the pharmacist. But then with real estate, it's just like, looking at my skin color. And like I said, it was two different things, but I had to make an adjustment for that, because I wasn't used to that at all. But now I feel like I know how to face that obstacle. I've encountered it so much now. It's like I know what to expect when going certain places, so I don't set my expectations as high.
Jermeshia, you sound like you were making a face like you had something to say. That's some good insight. I wasn't even thinking about that. But yeah, it's kind of like, well, how are you here? Or why are you here? Or the constant questioning. Right. Thank you. You don't see my name right here? You don't see my look. You don't see my stereotype, right? Hmm. Okay, okay, okay. Well, I'm like, well, I did say I wanted to.
Yeah.
Basically, she's saying y'all MFers got her effed up. Okay, gotcha.
all the way.
I can say it. I can say it. Okay, so let's just go and into, because I know everyone's kind of dying to know. But what I really wanted to do was I wanted to show you guys as individuals rather than just someone on the show. Like I wanted to sort of explain that you guys have the respect again of the being professional women, owning brokerage, doing this high high value clientele, all that you do, rather than you had a show and now you're popular because of that. Like I wanted to make sure we differentiate.
We
Yes.
appreciate it.
They was bosses before this show. Okay, get it together. I got you. Look, we're here. We're here. Okay. So I want to hear, and I heard the story before whenever you guys had the launch night, and I was super super impressed with that. But whoever wants to take on the story of how did you even how did y'all come up with Family Empire? How did you reach out? How did you start recording the first episode? How did it start? Okay.
Yeah.
She ain't complaining though. She
I was
ain't complaining.
voluntold.
She don't complain when she cash no checks though.
That part. I do not complain when I'm at the bank.
So JaQuita, let me come over to you after hearing how it started. A lot of people think that they want to be a reality star. You see all the clout that comes with a reality star. I mean, shoot, they make a celebrity out of someone. All they did was threw a glass of water across the table in someone's face, and now you're getting 13 Tubi movies. So obviously there is some validity to it. You already know. You already know. So right, right. So can you kind of give us, I guess, what so if people are thinking that and they're thinking I'm gonna be an instant star, I'm gonna have all this fame, and all I gotta do is get on TV, all I gotta do is get my face out there. what is your opinion about that? Like, what happened with you? Do you feel like it sort of pushed you into opportunities, or do you feel like, man, that was too much exposure? What now, looking back on it, what's your opinion?
Well, honestly, so and Jermeshia's probably over there laughing because she knows that I'm I'm like, wait, what? They're doing what they want me to do this. This is totally not me because I already do not like attention. So I do not like for the attention to be on me. I call myself an extroverted introvert because I'm extremely introverted when it's, with people I don't know. Around my family, I could definitely be extroverted. But it was just really a shock for me, like to have. I'm like, oh my goodness, somebody's doing a whole blog on me, talking about me and saying this. And I'm the type, I'm not really bothered by what people say. Like some of us on the show, every little thing someone says about them, they're highly offended. Me, I'm just like, I don't care. They talked about Jesus. But to still just have your family scrutinized, every just under the microscope like that, it it got to a point where it was just like, oh, is this reality TV really for me? Now, for me, it didn't make me an overnight celebrity at all. I still probably, I think I might be up to 7,000 followers. And some of the regular people, that's they start off with. So no, it did not turn me into an overnight celebrity, but I do feel like the exposure is there, and I want to use this platform for other things. To like, hey, we got the platform, let's make use of it. Do I have a product that I want to bring on board? Hey, let's make use of this platform because the followers that I may have, they may be true followers that really may support me. So that I will say, let's utilize this platform. But all that reality and under the microscope like that is, it definitely takes some adjustment.
Yeah, I say that too. Like now, I'm very intentional about who I align with because there was that transition of, you know, having, I think, whatever the followers were. I think I went from like 13,000 followers to whatever I got now, 80. And
Right.
it was just a lot of stuff. And then with that, you get a lot of people who think they can comment on your stuff and say stuff. And I'm like, I'm sorry. See, you don't know Holly who was at 13K, who will knock you out. So I get it. You see Holly Cotton now, and you see this
Right.
refined person who's trying
Hmm.
to be on Oprah Winfrey. I get it. I get it. I get it. It's very confusing, but we also got Nuck if you buck over here. I need you to know your place. Know your
that,
so,
that part is like,
so
hey.
Jermesha, my last question about the show and the reality part of it is: do you feel that it has been a challenge for you to deal with that kind of stuff? Because again, there's always the negative comments, there's always the feedback. Again, now there's the trolls coming out where you wouldn't even have a brokerage if it wasn't for the show, or you wouldn't have sales if it wasn't for the show. So what negative feedback, if any, have you gotten, and how are you dealing and processing that?
So it's really kind of the opposite of what you discussed. So we've had the brokerage for 5 years. And so we've been in the business for 12 years. Because of the show, I feel like we're under additional scrutiny, in every decision. Not only so the way real estate brokers work, agents have to hold their license with a broker. So we have 85 agents currently, with the brokerage. So everything that agent does, if someone doesn't like it, because they know that they're affiliated with Braden Real Estate Group, they are sending us emails about just to kind of, hey, I'm gonna put this review, I'm gonna sue, I'm gonna do this. So it's really opening us up to a higher level of scrutiny, which is very uncomfortable, because I feel as if we were, not exposed to the show, that people wouldn't feel like it was an easy target, because they know they can not only, impact the, their agents. They wouldn't have never done it if it was their, just their agent with a random, brokerage, but because they know we have this spotlight on us currently, using that as almost ammunition. And
Mm-hmm.
so that is, trust me, that's one of those things that, it's like, I did not expect this, to happen. Like, it was stuff that's just so random, like has nothing to do with their real estate transactions. But, we'll get random emails from ex-boyfriends, friends, baby mamas. Like, like, so and so is messing with, it's the craziest emails that we have. Do you know that your real estate, your real estate, agent is, doing this, dealing with custody disputes, associated, like that has nothing to do with real estate. but because they know that we have this, exposure, you know, let me try to see how I can use that exposure and their reputation, against them right now. So
Hmm.
that part was nobody told me that now, Holly. Okay.
Right. Well, yeah, because it is. I totally understand what you're saying. I didn't see it, but now I see the point of view of it because, again, they want to sort of discredit what
Hmm.
you built by attacking other people there because they can't bring you guys down because they know you guys are bosses. You were doing this before the show. You had already had a following. You had the networks. So how else can we break you down? Well, let me figure it out. Let me break the support group down or,
Hmm.
penetrate the wall or something. So I could, man, people ain't, I'm telling you.
Yeah. So that, I mean, that's not like a bunch of people,
That
but
is true. All it takes is one.
all it
Like,
takes is one. And so that's the thing. It's like, all my agents are not being targeted. I want to make sure I put that
right.
out there. None of all my agents are being targeted, but you can see through it very clearly when you like
Hmm.
that. I
Yeah.
see, I see it. I
I
see it.
know. I remember when I think after I wrote my, yeah, so this must have been 2022. And I had wrote my book day one and I was getting all of this publicity and I was talking all of these things and doing all of this. And then somebody sends me this big long email. Yeah, well, don't forget, maybe your fans would like to know who the real Holly Cotton is. So I was like,
Oh,
let me make a post because apparently I need to let people know I never changed. I'm just because I'm making money don't mean it
don't mean,
don't get what we said, nuck if you buck. Don't play with me. Don't
but
play
don't
with me.
play with me. But yeah, exactly, exactly.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so thank you guys for sharing the story, giving us all the insight. Again, I wanted to highlight you guys in your stories and just sort of explain that differentiation between the reality, but then also because you still have a real life when the show is over or when the show is not filming, you're still back here doing real life stuff. You're still out here closing deals, whatever. So I like to make
Yeah.
sure that we have that sort of that line of yes, that is a part of it, but we're still functioning. So for anyone who wants to support you guys, follow you guys, buy a gazillion-dollar house from you guys, buy a helicopter pad, I don't know, whatever. So how can we find you, like, support you, all of that stuff?
So you can find me, Jermeshia Goudeau, also Madam Broker on Instagram and Twitter. On Facebook and LinkedIn, you can find me under my name, Jermeshia Goudeau. And let me tell you, if you want to follow my crazy life with my wonderful kids, my husband, and the semi-social life that I have, as well as real estate learnings and everything dealing with real estate, follow along my journey on one of those platforms.
As JaQuita Martin on Facebook. Instagram, I'm Realtor RX. I think I'm the same for TikTok. I don't know. I'm on there, but I'm not actively on there. So I think it's my name. But you can also find me at jaquitamartin.com. You can reach out to me there, read about what's going on, family empire, my pharmacy, healthcare journey, real estate journey. Just connect with me.
All right, I love it. I love it. And like I say at the end of every episode as well, all of their information will be in the podcast notes. All you got to do is read. Reading is fundamental. There'll be clickable links in the podcast notes as well. So if you're like, how do I spell go do, don't just scroll down to the podcast notes. It's right in there. So thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Holly. Really appreciate it. This was fun.
Yes, don't hang up. Hold on. Let me
Okay.
make sure you're uploaded. Okay, good.